Everything you know about engines is a lie. Seriously. We spend thousands of dollars on cold air intakes, intercoolers, and ice tanks because we are terrified of one thing: heat. We are taught that heat kills horsepower, that heat is the enemy. Well, in 1984, Smokey Yunick looked at the laws of thermodynamics and he decided they were optional. He didn't want a cold engine. He built an engine that ran so hot it should have melted the pistons into a puddle of aluminum soup. He didn't want liquid fuel. He vaporized it until it was drier than the desert. And to prove it worked, he took the single worst car GM ever built, the 1984 Iron Duke Fiero, and he did the impossible. Stock, it had 92 horsepower. A lawnmower. Smokey, 250 horsepower. Stock, 30 miles per gallon. Smokey, 51 miles per gallon. He built a car that could outrun a Corvette and get better mileage than a Prius in 1984 with a carburetor. Let that sink in. If this engine was real, why are we still driving gas guzzlers 40 years later? Today, we find out why Smokey Yunick's best engine ever made simply disappeared. To understand why Smokey was right, you have to understand why your current car is wrong. Think about a fuel injector. It sprays a mist of gas into the engine, right? We call it atomization. But if you looked at that mist under a microscope, it's not a gas, it's tiny little liquid droplets. Here's the problem. Liquid gasoline doesn't burn, only gasoline vapor burns. When the spark plug fires, those little droplets have to boil and turn into vapor during the explosion. It's inefficient. A lot of that fuel doesn't burn completely, it just gets blown out the exhaust pipe as unburnt hydrocarbons. That is waste. That is lost power. Smokey looked at this and said, why are we trying to burn liquid? Why don't we turn it into a gas before it enters the engine? The hot vapor solution. So Smokey builds what he calls the hot vapor cycle engine, sometimes called the adiabatic engine, and he does the exact opposite of everything you've ever learned. Instead of an intercooler cooling the air down, he builds a system to heat the air up, way up. He used a two-stage heating system. Stage 1, he wraps the intake in coolant lines. The engine water heats the air-fuel mixture to about 190 degrees Fahrenheit. Most tuners would scream if their intake temps were that high. Smokey was just getting started. Stage 2, he wraps the intake in the exhaust system. He uses the waste heat from the tailpipe to superheat the mixture to over 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Think about that. The air entering the cylinder is oven hot. At that temperature, gasoline isn't a mist anymore. It is a completely dry, invisible vapor. It is homogenized. Smokey called it homogenization. He even used a device that looked like a turbocharger. He called it a homogenizer, not to build massive boost, but to mix and heat the air until it was perfectly uniform. The result? When the spark plug fired, the combustion was instant, complete, no wasted droplets. Because the mixture was already hot, it didn't steal heat from the explosion to vaporization. All that energy went into pushing the piston down. The Fiero Prototype. So the theory is sound, but does it run? Smokey took a 1984 Fiero. The stock engine was the Iron Duke. It was a boat anchor. It made 92 horsepower and struggled to get out of its own way. He ripped it apart. He installed this homogenizer. He wrapped the plumbing, and the numbers were absolute insanity. Power went from 92 to 250 horsepower. Torque went through the roof to 250 foot-pounds. But think about this little tidbit. Usually when you triple the horsepower, your gas mileage goes down the toilet. Smokey's Fiero got 51 miles per gallon. He drove it. Journalists drove it. Hot Rod magazine verified it in their June 1984 issue. The car was a rocket ship that sipped fuel like a Prius. The secret ingredients. Now, you might be asking, if the air was 400 degrees, wouldn't the engine detonate? Wouldn't it knock itself to death? That was the genius part. Because the fuel was fully vaporized, it didn't create hot spots in the cylinder like liquid droplets do. It burned so evenly that he could run it lean without blowing it up. But there were catches, big ones. First, the oil. When an engine runs this hot, normal oil turns to sludge. Smokey had to use early synthetic oils that were incredibly expensive at the time. We're talking aerospace-grade stuff just to keep the bearings from melting. Why we don't have it. So, here is the million-dollar question. If Smokey Yunick built an engine in 1984 that is better than what we have in 2025, why are we not driving it in 2025? Did Big Oil kill it? Did GM hide the patents? Actually, the answer is a lot simpler and a lot more boring. It was the government, specifically emissions laws. See, when you burn fuel at extremely high temperatures, you create a chemical byproduct called nitrogen oxide, or NOx. That's the stuff that creates smog and acid rain. Smokey's engine was incredible at CO2 and unburnt fuel, but it was a NOx factory. Catalytic converters in the 80s couldn't handle it. Even modern ones would struggle. To pass an emissions test, the hot vapor engine would fail instantly. Also, technology caught up. Modern direct injection, or GDI, operates at thousands of psi. It atomizes fuel so well that we don't need to heat it up to 400 degrees anymore. Smokey solved the problem with heat. Modern engineers solved it with pressure and computers. But that doesn't make Smokey's achievement less legendary. With no computer, no fuel injection, and a carburetor, he built a car that outperformed a Corvette and got better mileage than a Honda Civic. He proved that the rules of engineering are just suggestions if you're smart enough to rewrite them. The hot vapor Fiero still exists. It sits in museums, a silent reminder that sometimes the wrong way is actually the right way. What do you think? Would you drive a 400-degree engine if it meant 50 miles per gallon? Or was this just a ticking time bomb? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to see how Smokey Yunick cheated NASCAR using a drill, click this video right here. See ya. Final note to everyone. We're trying to make this a pleasurable experience for everyone that views our channel and videos. We do make mistakes, we are human. Please leave a comment, good or bad, but be constructive with these comments. If there's something that bothers you, be polite. We can adjust for future videos. We take every comment to heart, and it really stings when we get some mean comments. Our goal is to give you viewing pleasure. For instance, a prior video, someone commented, many commented on the slideshow that was happening. We are adjusting this video to better suit that viewer's thoughts, and actually this video is the brainchild of another viewer's comments. So thank you, @DouglasCooper1987 for the idea. Enough talk. We hope to see you on the next venture. If there is any other topic you would like to see, please let us know, and we will get on it. Thanks again for watching and liking, or not liking. We all have our preferences.